and welcome back to Gapey's Grow Room. It's been 12 weeks since I started the first set of peppers on January 1st, and I thought I would show you something a little bit different this time. I'm going to only show you the peppers and not all the other stuff that I have growing in the grow room because it would just take too long to go over everything. And I wanted to take the time in this video to show you all the equipment, the lighting, the heat mats, everything that I'm using to grow the peppers. So this is the top shelf of my wire rack, and this is just a regular rack that I got from, I believe, Lowe's, but Home Depot and other hardware stores probably carry the same type of thing. But it's 4 feet long, and it's got, I think it comes with 4 shelves, but I'm only using 3 shelves for the grow room. But it's only like $25, $30 maybe, so they're not very expensive at all, and they work perfect for a grow room. And I've got the shop lights that I also got from Lowe's, and these are 2 fixture fluorescent shop lights, and the bulbs I'm using are 6500 Kelvin, and that seems to be working great for the plants. And I've also got these on a heat mat. So this is a 48 by 20 heat mat that I got on Amazon, and it came with the thermostat. You can see the thermostat down here. And I think I have it set to 70 degrees, but it does go a little bit over. And then it'll turn off and it'll go down to about 68 degrees before it turns back on again. But that heat mat is actually pretty reasonable. It's only $45. It's made by iPower, and I got it on Amazon. So I think that's a really great deal. I got 2 of these because I have enough peppers to fill up 2 shelves. And then also on the shelf, I have the lights attached to the rack with one of these. They're kind of a pulley system, so you just pull this rope to move it up and down. And these I got 2 of those for $10. And I don't have those attached to every light in my grow room, just the one up here on the top shelf. So now let's take a look at the peppers. These are all the sweet or mild pepper varieties. They're the Capsicum annuum and Capsicum baccatrums. So we have the habanada, which is a habanero shape, but it's actually a sweet pepper. We have ahi tangerine, which is a friend's cross. And then this one here is the Trinidad perfume and ahi mango in the back. And then we've got linzo, which is King Star's cross, ahi fantasy, and then Thai cluster, which is a Thai variety, but it creates the peppers in big clusters. So that should be a fun one to try. And then we've got the paprika. I've got 2 varieties of paprika here. And then we have Kang Star's white Thai, the lemon drop, and also the sugar rush striped. So I wanted to show you the ones here. You can see the soil looks a little bit different color between the ones in the front and the ones in the back. And that's because the front ones I have used the Fox Farm Ocean something potting mix. And then the ones in the back, I'm using the spiked soil. And I've noticed, I think the spiked soil is doing actually a lot better, especially on these 2, the lemon drop and the sugar rush striped. You can see that the tops are kind of, the leaves are just growing kind of goofy. And that's only doing that on the Fox Farm potting mix. The ones that are on the back here with spiked soil actually look pretty good. They're not looking as goofy. And the leaves just seem a lot bigger compared to the ones here in the front. So I'm not too thrilled with the Fox Farm. And I've found a lot of rocks in that potting mix as well. And it's super expensive, so I think I'm not going to even bother using that one again. I really wish spiked soil was local because the shipping on that is really expensive. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do next year. I'm just hoping that I can get it locally by the time I need to use it again next year, because yeah, that shipping is crazy. It's $20 for shipping, so not really worth it, I don't think. But anyways, besides that, we've got some more peppers here in the back. These are the extras that I grew in the can. This is the mini bell. I've got 2 left of those. And then this is the Apache. These are all going to get sold. And then we've got the Hot Pops purple, which is also going to get sold. And then these are my 4 ricotos, which are doing pretty good. The leaves, if you've never seen ricotos before, they're a Capsicum pubescens, and they've got kind of fuzzy leaves. So I've got 4 different varieties here, and I've already sold my 2 extras that I had. I sold those to my neighbor, so those are gone. But I've got these 4 left. So these are going to be fun to grow this year. And then my other peppers I have a couple peppers here on the bottom. We've got our canned peppers down here. So we've got the Hot Pops Purple, which I think is doing the best out of all of them. It's growing really nicely. And then this is the Apache, which is doing all right. And then the Mini Bell isn't doing as great as I would like. So it's having some edema issues. And edema is when, if you look on the underside of the leaves, it's got like these little white bumps. And normally that's due to overwatering or too much humidity, but it hasn't really been, I mean, that's the only one that seems to be doing it in here. So I'm not sure why that's happening, and it's not overwatered, it's pretty light. But yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. There's not really much you can do. I could try topping it off to cut off, because it's mostly the top ones that are like that, and then hope that the new growth, actually I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to cut that off right there, and that's where most of the affected leaves are. So hopefully the new growth will be good. And then I've got a Korean gochu and a lemon drop back here, because these two for some reason were growing really tall, and I didn't really have room to put them in with the other ones. I could have topped them, but I decided to just put them down here. And I have these under a 45 watt, or actually no, this is 22 watt, 225 LED white light panel. And I actually really like those, and I think they're too close, to be honest. So I might move this to the other grow room so that I can lift these up a little bit higher. But I got that on Amazon, and it's only $45 for 2 of those. So I think that's a really great deal. So also in this grow room, I've got a hurricane fan. So that puts out quite a bit of air. And that was only $40 on Amazon. This one didn't come with a stand. You can buy them with the stand, but I think it's cheaper without. So I just put it on this chair, and when you turn it on, it pretty much covers every single shelf over here. So that's all I need for airflow on this rack. And I also wanted to show you these yellow stickies, because I think when I started using the Fox Farm potting mix, I think that brought in some fungus gnats, which I'm not too thrilled about, because I didn't have a problem until I started using that. But I just opened up this yellow sticky trap like maybe an hour ago. You can see there's already a couple stuck to it. So there's one there, and then there's one on this side too. So that works really well. I used those last year. I have another one on this side. This is actually one from last year, so I didn't catch all these recently, but you can see how many gnats are stuck to that. So that's one. Those gnats are from last year. So this isn't that sticky anymore, so I'm going to take that down and put up a fresh one. But that's all we have for the peppers in this grow room. Let's go take a look at the other one. So here in the other grow room, I've got all the capsicum chinense varieties here in this grow tent. And this is a 48 by 24 grow tent that I got on Amazon for, I believe it was $70. And I actually got it for Christmas off my Amazon wish list. But I've got a 300 watt light time tunnel LED panel, and it's got the red and blue LEDs, so it puts off this awful pink light, which I really don't like, and it's probably not good for your eyes. So I'm going to turn that off so we could see a little bit better. I've got one of those white LED panels in here as well, and I don't usually have that on, but I turn it on if I'm taking pictures or video. So that's all that one is in here for. But in here I've also got one of those heat mats. So that 48 by 20 heat mat fits pretty perfectly here in this grow tent. So you can see all the chinense varieties are all doing pretty well. And I've got most of those in solo cups. But you can see over here in the back corner, those are in 3.5 inch square containers. And you can see how much smaller those are compared to the solo cup ones. And I think that's mainly due because they don't have as much room for the roots to grow. So the reason I use the solo cups is because the bottom cup allows the roots room to grow. So let me show you the gator jigsaw back here. So we've got the 2 cups here. So in the bottom cup we have a rock, and that's where I water and I use the nutrients and put that in there. I use the liquid nutrients. But look at all the roots on there. I mean, if it didn't have room for the roots to grow down there, it would just coil around inside the cup. So this allows it to get a lot bigger than it would in a smaller container, or a container that doesn't allow the roots to expand. So that you can tell how much difference that makes for that to happen. But I mean, these are all, I just wanted to experiment to see, you know, what the difference would be, and you can definitely tell they grow a lot bigger and better in these solo cups. Now, I also wanted to show you the fans I have in here. So I'm not using one of those big hurricane fans. I've got the USB fans in here. So this is, I have an extension, a USB extension cable, because the cords are pretty short. And I have it plugged into this power strip here that has USB plugins. So these are Topwell fans. Unfortunately, I look for these on Amazon and I cannot find them anymore. And it's really disappointing because I can't find, there is a lot of different USB fans on Amazon, but none of them that have this thing here that allows you to, you know, reposition the fan pretty much wherever you want. So this is what I really liked about these fans. So it's kind of unfortunate that they don't have those anymore. And then you can also clip these onto, you know, a bunch of different places. So I have that, it's kind of like a metal rod that holds the tent together. But I mean, you can clip that pretty much anywhere. And most of the USB fans do have that clip, just not this rod here. So let's just take a closer look at the peppers that we have growing in here. I showed you the gator jigsaw, and I've got another, there's pretty much 2 of each variety in here. But I did top a lot of these recently because they were either getting too tall or they were starting to flower. And I'm not sure I have any flowering right now. I think I took all the flowers off, but a lot of people ask me, why don't you want it to flower? And the reason you don't want it to flower is because you don't want the energy of the plant going into flower production or fruit production, because you want it to get big and strong so that when you put it outside it'll be more productive. So I always try to pull off any flowers or any buds that I see before I take it outside. And then if it starts getting too tall, or if it forks, then I'll just, you know, clip the, you can see a lot of these have clips. So I clipped those off recently. There's one here. This one I clipped about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago, but you can see all the new growth coming out between each of the stems. And then one I did probably a couple weeks ago is this. This is my Hobito peach cross, but you can see I clipped it off right there, and you can see all this new growth. This is all a new stem. This is all a new stem. So there's a lot of new growth coming out in various places, and that makes it more bushy. And a lot of people say ultimately it'll make it more productive, but there's some disagreements on that, on whether it does or doesn't. And I like to think it does, but sometimes people just clip them just because they don't want it to take up so much space. And that's another good reason you want to clip it. But most of these are doing really well. There's a few that are getting some of that edema, and I'm not sure what's causing that. I do have the fans going on in here most of the time. Not all of them have it. So, see, I think this one, you can see it kind of pretty good on that one. So yeah, I'm not sure what's causing that. So I'm not putting too much water in there. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. There's not really any cure other than, you know, reducing the watering. So I'm going to try and let these dry out a little bit more between waterings and see if that might help. And it seems to happen more on the solo cup ones than the ones back here. I don't think any of these have any issues yet. But we'll keep an eye on it, see how it does. I think that's pretty much everything in here. I'll just show you a couple peppers here. This is the FL Pineapple Batman pepper. And you can see I trimmed that one off too, and there's a lot of new growth coming out down towards the bottom. So that one's looking really good. And these purple ones, this is the Peach Peter Reaper. That is my neighbor's cross that I got from him. But most of the leaves are very purple, and then some of the new growth is coming out green, but it eventually turns purple. So I think this one, I really like the looks of that one. I'm not having too much edema issue on that one. And let's see, what else can I show you? This one here is the Nebru 7. It's looking really good. It seems to have a little bit lighter leaves on the Nebru 7 than the other varieties. Both of these are kind of lighter colored, and they're both the Nebru 7. Let's see what else. This one is the Yellow Ghost. It's growing pretty nice and stocky. You can see how thick the stem is on some of these. So all of these in here were started January 1st or January 15th. And you can't really tell the difference between the two. They're all pretty close to the same size. So that's when January is when I usually like to start my super hots and my hots. And then I also wanted to show you the liquid fertilizer that I'm using this year. So this is the Dr. Earth Pure Gold Organic and Natural Concentrated All-Purpose Plant Food. So this is the variety, and it's a 111 NPK, and this is what Costco is carrying this year. So I know I'm familiar with the Dr. Earth brand, and I've used their stuff before, so I know it's pretty good. It's organic, it's non-GMO, so it should be a pretty good product. So I've been pretty happy with it so far. You just need a little tiny bit mixed in with the water, and you're good to go. So I'm glad they started carrying this brand and aren't carrying Miracle Grow anymore. Alright, I think that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to you again soon.